Good morning, James Chapman.
Bink. I'm the Bink.
The Bink.
Yeah.
Welcome to The Grinder, folks. We are here to bring you another episode of some truly fascinating stuff about business, entrepreneurship, being in the trenches, and handling business.
That's right. That's right.
Today, it is James and I only. There is no guest among us, and we are here to get down and dirty. James here has a quote for us, but now he's looking at me like he doesn't have the quote at all for some reason.
No, I do. My problem is I got 3 and they're all so damn good.
Close your eyes, pick one.
Yeah. People do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. FM Alexander. I like that.
Beautiful note there. Let me take one back for you. The reflection that I had this morning, James, was based off of, if someone else is strong enough to do it, why can't I? Okay.
Yeah.
Which then, at the very bottom, I do mention YOLO. Are you familiar with YOLO?
YOLO, yeah, YOLO.
So you only live once, for all you older folks out there, which you would think would be common knowledge. However, I put in here, going back to the quote you just said, your vision, mentality, and self-talk makes up your life and what it will be. So creating those habits, having the mentality to be able to step into those new habits, and building better habits to become a better person in the long run.
Like that. So I was having a conversation earlier, one of the ladies here in my office, and we were talking about some retention rates on certain products and stuff. And like, it kind of was trending down a little bit, and we were kind of talking about it. And I was like, well, it is what it is. That's what I said.
Shit.
And she goes, yep. And I was like, wait a minute. Why'd I say that? I hate that saying. I hate that saying. And she was like, why? And I was like, because basically I just gave myself an excuse not to do more research. I just allowed myself to be lazy. Mm-hmm. And she goes, wow, I've never thought about it that way. That's an interesting way to look at it. And I was like, well, maybe that's just for me. But when I use that, that is me saying, screw it. I ain't going to look any further into it.
Good.
Now, that's not okay though. Like, that's my money. That's my customer. So is there a disconnect somewhere? Like, what's going on? Why did that retention rate fall on that one product? Do I have a price change? Do clients just not feel like they're getting the service they need on it? Like, what's the reason? There's something to it. And maybe it's just the market right this second. I don't know. But me saying it is what it is doesn't give me a solution to it. It allows me just to say, screw it, and not look any further. Allows me to be lazy. I don't like that.
Yeah. When I said good, I meant as in like, you're good. In the sense of, you're just passing it on. Kicking the rock down the road, as they say.
Now, look, I agree. You shouldn't dwell on things that are a waste of your time.
Mm-hmm. But that's important, though. I mean,
hell yeah, it's important.
It is what it is in the sense of, I dropped my cup and I spilled all my coffee. Damn.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But alternative to that, when you're talking about the shit that you're just like, it is what it is, but you're just saying that to give yourself an excuse, that's an issue. So here's the question, James. What are you doing about that?
Well, what I did is I was like, well, I can't work on it right now. Okay, well, then don't say it is what it is. Make yourself a follow-up note here. So when you have time, you can dig into it.
What's the protocol going to be? You going to ask questions to the clients, or like what?
No, I'm going to pull the products and see what we have. And some of it is natural attrition but the percent's up. I want to find out about the percentage, the difference there, you know? I mean, in my business, you know, we have long-term, I mean, like, you know, hey, we just had to remove some stuff for a client because he freaking died, you know? I mean, people die and they die and then their family members cancel stuff or it cancels for non-payment or whatever the case may be. Right. So,
Yeah.
you know, businesses close down, those kind of things. So there's some natural attrition there, but it's trending the wrong way.
Yeah. Is it across the board, like nationwide or statewide, or is it just inside the company? Like, how do you guys compare?
That I cannot answer to you. I can't answer because I don't know because I haven't done the research yet.
I see.
But I know it's trending for my office because I see the numbers, you know, because I get the reporting because I track it. If I track it, then I can manage it. If I can manage it, I can figure it out and change it. Right.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's something we've been diving into. Since I hired that coach, been putting me on a little bit of different of a track than I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been enlightening in the sense of some of the stuff that he's talking about is where we were headed anyways, but he's shown me in a different aspect of why it's important. Where I was like, oh, we just need to get this done, period.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
he's like, why do you need to get it done? Because it's important. That quick excuse, James.
Yep.
Quick excuse. So that's been good in that sense, but that's basically what you're saying. Like there's certain things that as business owners we put a pass on because we don't want to step into the muck right now.
Yeah.
But it is important for us to go back and say, okay, are we giving ourselves an excuse to get out of this muck so that we don't step into it, or are we willing to step into this muck later on?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. So I can tell anybody in my company the exact process that they should use to have a smooth flow to their day, be productive, be efficient, be impactful, all that stuff. But then I'll turn right around. And then if I don't implement those things and how I do it, because I have 1,000 things coming me a day, right? Like I'm the catch-all.
Yeah.
So I'm the catch-all for any little problem that's outside of somebody's purview. And well, if I don't jot it down, mark it down, put it to my to-do list, put it on my calendar, set my follow-ups, right? Like, then I'll pass it right over because you know what? I might have 50 things come at me today, but only 3 are going to really stick because they're important. And the other ones I'll either try to remember or pass them over. What it really comes back down to is making a decision. Is this worth my time? If it's worth my time, when am I going to touch it? Well, if I'm not going to touch it till next week, then put it there. Forget that it even exists right now. When it comes around time next week, I'll work on it. Or, hey, it's not worth my time. So don't even sit there and dwell on it. Say no, or say, I'm not working on this, or pass it over to the person it should go to. Make a decision.
And I agree with the fact that like I have that same issue. My hair is nuts. I have that same issue where I'm more tending on the piece of I'm making a decision right now and moving on. Whereas if I would have put a little bit more thought of that, I would have pushed it the next week and actually had a full breakdown of the conversation. And then typically, if I do put something in place right then, it doesn't hold too because I never put enough thought into it of how we need to go about the process of the system behind it. And I'm hoping that's where hiring this coach is going to be able to tweak some of those situations.
Yeah. And it has the flip side. So if you overanalyze certain things, which I'm prone to do as well, right? There's stuff I won't give any time to, and then stuff I'll go down a rabbit hole that can be a complete waste of my time.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole paralysis by analysis thing. So, you know, if you can get better at making decisions of what you're going to work on now, what you're not going to work on at all, when you're going to work on it in the future, then it'll keep you from getting off track and right. And then you're building better habits, as we were just talking about in the quote. Which can help dictate your future.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it
But
too.
it's
I
one
like
of
it a
those.
lot, Addison.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Don't side eye me. Why are you getting all side eyed with me?
You just
Don't like my enthusiasm on it?
I love your enthusiasm on it.
Yeah. Well, tell your face that.
I'll tell my face that.
Yeah. I'm trying to put 5, let me back up. I'm trying to put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag today.
Uh-huh.
For my non-Southern folks, I think you get my drift. But I know it's that's a good old Southern saying we have here. Headed for family vacation next week. Spend some time on the beach, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'm to the point today.
And you know what? I would not want it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we kick the shit around here.
Yeah.
Something that we implemented this week here at the office was intentions and what your intentions are for the week and for the day. So like mini goals, right? And what I've noticed in just a week, there was things that I was not putting my own mind to for the week because I get so caught up in, like you said, the task-oriented pieces of what we do that I didn't turn on the what am I stepping into this week for? What am I stepping into today for?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to say, okay, well, our main focus right now for the month is 7 closings minimum. And we are behind on that number. So everybody's intention needs to be focused on what specific role that you have inside this company that needs to be worked on, right? It could be as simple as selling one of our shirts. It could be as simple as, you know, making that appointment today. It could be as simple as 23 phone calls today. And there's so many things where I've just been busting through things where I'm not slowing down during my week to actually understand where I need to be. And I think that's kind of what we just tied into,
Yeah.
where it's like, what is your intention on this or what is your intention on this retention piece, right? Like where is that focus going to be? When are you going to put that focus into it? But no, that's kind of full circle there.
So have you ever done any like land navigation, like using a compass?
No.
You know, what's interesting about it is, I mean, if you know where you are, you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to know where you're at. The map's worthless if you can't find where you are. So, you know, first thing you're going to do is you're going to look for where you're at. And then you're going to shoot an azimuth and you're going to figure out, okay, well, this is where I got to go. This is the direction. Cause you got north, you got your cardinal directions on the map. Then you know where you're at. You know the point you want to get to. All right. You figure that shit out. You figure the distance, everything. And then you shoot your azimuth and then you can look back at the compass, which matches with the cardinal directions. And then you say, okay, I know where I need to head. I know what direction I need to go. And then you can plot, terrain features along the way, right? So you'll look at that and say, okay, well, after so long, I should see, this big valley or whatever it may be, or this elevation change. Okay. Because the point is, if you did that from spot A and you're trying to get to B, right? Then before you start walking in that direction, you go 100 yards to your right, okay, your left, and then start trying to point that. You're going to be off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
the key point is, so as you're counting this and walking this, you're looking for these key features that should stick out to you, where you should see them, how far you should go till you see them. And then that whole time you're watching that compass. You're watching. So it's your step by step. You have your checkpoints and then you have your end goal. And if you're not paying attention to all those, you will end way the fuck off. Way the fuck off. Also, if you're paying attention to this, one time we had to do, my buddy Sullivan, we were up in like Minnesota and we had to do this big land nav. And the way the military would do it, they give you points, right? And then at that point, like on a tree, there would be a plaque about this big. It would have some kind of number combination or something on it. So they know if you actually made it to it. Right. And it would be, like I said, it would be about that big and it'd be on a tree. So you couldn't just go, oh yeah, we made it to the big boulder there. Right. Yeah. We saw the boulder. No. You got a little sign on a tree. So you better be on. Right. When we knew where a spot was, but like it was only like 300 meters from us from where we were standing. And there was this big ass hill. I mean, massive hill. And it was like straight up. We were like, all right, look, we know it's right here on the other side of this hill. Cause it's gotta be. So it's right here on the other side of the hill. So we just climb this hill, go over and we'll go back down. Dude, we spent an hour like holding on to trees, trying to climb up the side of this thing. And we were beat. We got the top, like we had to like lay down, like we were so beat. And so we get to the top, amazing views, look down, we can see the point. But if we would have just walked like 200 meters, we could walk right around that hill. So like we got so focused on the end goal, we didn't stop and check the map and say, okay, hey, we're tuned in, we're dialed in, we know where this is at. Look at the terrain features. Look what the map is telling me of how I can walk just right around this and make it a little easier for myself, staying in tune. We were so focused on getting to the end point. We're going to look at that check spot and just say, okay, how does this make the most sense now? Right? We knew we wanted to go from A to B, but we never consulted as we went along to say, okay, hey, is there an easier route? Is there a smarter, not necessarily easier, smarter, right?
Right.
So don't take pride in just how hard you work. Don't take pride in just how many hours you put in and think that's like some badge of honor. If you don't get the results you want in the most efficient and effective way, you are wasting energy you could put on something else. You could do it. You were trading time for money.
Yep.
You're trading, breaking down your body and yourself mentally for money at a lower rate when it could be a higher rate. So like pay attention as you go along. Know your course, know your end goal, know your checkpoints, and constantly check that thing as you're moving. That's what makes the difference. I said a lot there.
Yeah, you did. But what the biggest piece with that, sorry, my phone went off. The biggest piece with that is understanding, let's just say you're heading straight north, right? Like you said, like being able to say, okay, if we need to make the adjustment, let's make the adjustment now so that we're not having to put our bodies through hell. Like,
Yeah.
it just, that makes complete sense. And it's, you do make this comparison with business a lot about land nav and business, right? But it makes so much more sense when you say it that way. Because in business we have this end goal, we have the $30 million goal that we have to hit. And then we say, okay, well, to do that, we got to do the to-do list, right? The things you have to do. But if we're off track, or if we're heading in this certain direction, which is pulling us left, but we've got to go straight, there's an issue. We're not following where we need to go. We have not taken the time to adjust where we need to adjust.
Yeah.
So, dude, that makes complete sense. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And why would you not?
Now, here's one thing, though, that is different. A lot of times, in land nav, when they would say, hey, you're going from A to B, there was no question. You got to get to B, right? Mm-hmm. And there's certain things you got to do in your business. But if the future is unknown, right? Like I tell myself where I want to get this company, where I see the point out there that I want to get to. Like, but don't, and the path I'm going to take to get there, don't be so headstrong about that as you go, it kind of goes back to walking around that hill, right? Like there may be something that turns out instead of going to B, there's a C out there that actually is a better destination for you. You think you have this all plotted in this perfect, beautiful green pasture you're going to go to, but like maybe that's not it. And if you're staying in tune with as you're going along, just keep open-minded that there may be something out there much better that is different for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a different way to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
So
right, take that shit and apply it.
yeah, well, but this is the perfect time to do so. We are halfway through the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not halfway to your goal at this point in time, it's adjustment, it's audible, it's time to make that call.
Yeah.
Right? Bring the team together, bring the meeting of the minds. Maybe it's just you, and maybe you have to adjust where you're headed. Right? Take a look at what's going on around you. Take a look at what's going on in your business. Build up that readiness. Build it up. Because at this point in time, if you do not make adjustments and you are only a quarter of your way to your goal, there is an issue. There's something. Yeah, we're off somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I'm stating it as fact. Like right now, you say that we're off. We're off. We're going to miss our goal by 25% if we keep the current pace.
Same here.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why I was like, you know what? We're halfway through the year. I'm having an issue. We're going to meet where we met last year, and I don't want that. We doubled our goal this year.
Same.
And the problem with where I'm at is I'm tracking down a road that I've never been down. I don't know what a $30 million business looks like. I don't. So how do I get there? Pulling in people who have done it before. And asking for that, hey, you have the map. Show me how to kind of maneuver this terrain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then also the mental terrain that comes along with being with a $30 million business. Cause I don't know.
Well, and that was what I was actually just thinking when you said that. Like, first you gotta, your first thought is like, I was actually thinking this while you were talking. I was going, well, my goal was to do 2 million new business this year. We're on course to do 1.5, which will be our best year to record.
That's awesome.
And well, if we fall short, we still did our best year on record. But we said it was 2. If I say we are capable and we are worthy of 2, and I look at 2 as just the way it should be, then I will not be satisfied with 1.5.
Right.
The softer side of me goes, well, record year, best we've ever had. We shot for something that was insane and we didn't make it, but man, we did amazing, right? Best year ever. But that's not what we said we were going to do. We took the time and effort to plot this and figure out how to make it happen, and it's not adding up yet. So am I supposed to just be satisfied with less? If I have it set and say, well, that's still good enough for me, then what was the whole point of having 2 to start with? Just so I could so I could not hit it,
Well, here's the thing. Don't be satisfied yet. If at the end of the year you hit 1.7, be proud that you hit the 1.7. Call it. And then understand where you need to make the adjustments at the end of the year. But at this point in time, halfway through the game, we're hunting for that 2, period.
Yeah.
Because that's what we set. If at the end of the year we don't hit it, now we know to make adjustments for next year. And now we can make that 3, right? Based off of where we need to be. But like that's the thing. And Grant Cardone talks about that, right? He says, if you 10x your business and you fall short, at least you 5x at the end of the day, or whatever it might be. You can't make progress without setting a larger goal. But if don't sit here and say, okay, well, we're halfway through the year, we'll just shoot for 1.7. You start lowering those standards now. It's not going to work.
It won't even finish out at the 1.5 that we're trending.
Correct.
Yeah. I agree completely.
So that's exciting, bro.
Yeah. That's one, we've talked about that many times, but you talk about like people who are cocky that think they're worth more than they are kind of stuff. The good point to them, the positive to that is they'll get to that number quicker, because anything less is failure. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're too humble in your approach, you'll never get the things that you say you want.
Which takes us back to last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Ego,
Yeah.
that confidence level, building that
Yep.
up to where it's ready to go.
Yep.
You've got to have the double-edged sword,
Yeah.
because without it, it's be humble in your approach, but be confident in your ability.
Yep. Agree. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you
It's
guys
always
for
good stuff. Y'all are welcome so much.
but also thank you so much.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, this is why we do it, to be able to maybe put in some inspiration into the world, to be able to make an impact, even if it's a small one. Um, at the end of the day, you guys are the reason we do this, and we appreciate you for listening and taking the time. Whether it's one person that hears this, whether it's 100 million, at the end of the day, I'm hunting for that 100 million. Just so we're clear. So, but we can't hit that number without you folks, spreading the word, being able to really allow us to be able to touch the people that we want to touch, and not in a creepy way. But with that being said, thank you guys. Appreciate you to the max amount of appreciation, and we want to take this thing to where we know we can.
Yeah.
With that being said, James, there's one thing that we've got to do.
What's that?
If you have not already, go take a look at Origin USA and JockoFuel.com. Pick you up some pre-workout, maybe some of that Go energy drink / focus goodness, as well as they've got protein. They've got everything you need to make your body bigger, better, and faster, and stronger, and leaner. But also, once you get to that point, maybe you're on the hunt to lose 20 pounds, you're going to need some new jeans. And if you do, and you need some new jeans, do not forget to go take a look at Origin USA, because they sell jeans as well. American made jeans here in the USA. American made, American proud. With that being said, folks, at checkout, put in your code GRIND10, GRIND10, GRIND10. Get yourself 10% off. James?
Appreciate y'all. Grinder out.